Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Alejandra reporting for Kids First, and today we're in the Don't Take Yes for an Answer seminar talking to Edison and Joshua about their successful careers in theater and in film and how that's changed their life. So come on, let's see what they have in store. Well, Joshua, nice to meet you.
Hi.
How do you feel, do you feel a sense of accomplishment that your series won and your process?
I do. The Project Greenlight organization situation is just a great thing that they find unique voices that aren't really fortunate enough to have instant access. And I'm really appreciative that we've got an opportunity to share a unique story, especially about Miami. We've met some great people, and we've really gotten a good lesson on how we want to create what our voices are, and how we can really make it something Miami will be proud of. And we have a lot of things coming in store that we're excited to share in the coming future, and I think Miamians will be super proud.
Where do you get your inspiration or the ideas to put them or bringing them to life?
The inspiration comes from everything, honestly. Sometimes I write scenes where I'll hear a song, and like the way the crescendo goes up and down, it'll draw a feeling that draws a memory, and I'll be like, oh my God. Like, you always have to be on the lookout for something that can inspire you. Anything, and my family primarily, my mother, everything I do is for her. And her story inspires me. My grandmother's stories inspires me. Friends go through troubles, and I always think that all work that you do needs to come from the heart, and it has to bleed. It has to be real. None of this Hollywood cookie cutter. No me gusta.
Now that you touched the family subject, how does your family feel of all the accomplishments that you've done?
My mother and my family are very proud of me, because my mother, when she was young, she wanted to be a supermodel, and she was damn gorgeous, and she is damn gorgeous, but she was, she didn't get guided on that path. And so when she saw that I really liked this, of course, your parents want you to do something stable, and she saw that I was really passionate about this, and she supported me. She still was like, just make sure you get a job or something. She always was there. But slowly by slowly, I started showing her this litany but she started seeing. She would come to my plays when I was in school, and people would tell her, oh my God, your son is just a great person to work with. And I'm just like, she's just like, wow, I'm really happy that you're doing this. My friends have been also supportive too, so it's good to have a nice support system, and that comes from the heart.
How did you and your roommate start making these films? How did you know he was the person to make your projects to life?
So there was a few situations where I was figuring out how to talk to girls, and I got some advice, and I would come back with these really embarrassing stories, and slowly by slowly that started to be the spark for what we would write about, because often we don't talk about daddy issues from men. Like, men have daddy issues, and we realized that our histories kind of parallel that, and that kind of started more conversation, and we started sharing stories and what could be, there's things that are dramatized, of course, for the sake of narrative, but it all connects back to some sort of truth. I was a slob when I first moved in with him, and I didn't know that. I just thought my mom was yelling at me when I was a kid, but then I come back and Edson's like, dude, you're a slob. And, so that's something that you have to learn when growing up by a single mother. My mom just yelled at me, but to come from that, rebellious teenager, you just think that's one way, but then you realize other people kind of have different perspectives, and you share that with each other. It's a good source of information for how we create our work.
Last but not least, are there any future projects that you're planning or any ideas?
We have a few things. I know I'm keeping my foot in theater as well. There's an awesome theater project that from Project Theater that's going to be coming out soon, and we have a lot of things going on, and we're in the real planning phase right now. So we're just really excited to tell authentic Miami stories. So stay tuned.
Well, thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Okay, hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How do you feel that Moonlight has accomplished so much, and that you being part of the movie?
I feel great. I think kind of the dream when you make any project is you want it to reach as many people as possible, and you want it to have an impact. And I feel like that film in particular did really well. I'm really grateful that as many people saw it and appreciated it.
How was the relationship between the crew and the cast members in the process of making this film?
This film, we're talking
Moonlight.
I mean, the cast was great. We had an incredibly talented cast who were all, I think we were very lucky, very generous, very open, and we had a really stellar crew. Miami has some really wonderful people to work with, and I think we were very lucky to have them all in the same project.
And how is the relationship between you and Edson and Joshua? You've worked with them before. How is the relationship, and what was it that you made?
Also separate from Moonlight. I mean, Josh and Edson are phenomenal. I mean, they're dear friends of mine. Working with them was great. It's always wonderful to work with people you know and like separate from the work, because it allows you to do the work, I think, at a very personal level. You're able to take the work and make something really special out of it. Working with them was a phenomenal experience.
And how do you feel? How do you feel for them that they've accomplished so much, and even though that they've gone through hard times, that has not stopped them? How do you feel for them?
Oh, I'm super proud of them. The show is really great, and them as artists, I'm just really excited to see what they do next.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you. How
Nice
are
to
you?
meet you. I wanted to ask you, what do you feel to see the project that you've worked on for so much to be on the big screen and that people are enjoying watching it?
I think it's for me, it's really important for not just enjoying watching it, but for people to identify with themselves on screen, and for little young Haitian American boys and girls, and also Cuban American boys and girls to see themselves reflected on screen and to say, "Oh, I exist. My story matters." But it feels real good to be able to share that. And I think the work is just a facilitator for that.
And where do you get your inspiration, or maybe you get an idea to work on something in the future?
It's usually what's happening around me. Like, I can just walk down the street here on Calle Ocho, and then I just see people, and I see conversations or specific characters, and sometimes I jot down those ideas, maybe sometimes I sneak a picture of people so I can look at it later. But really what's around me is really what I'm inspired to write. A lot of my early stories came from just being in the kitchen with my mom. So, yeah.
Now that you've touched the subject about your mom, how does your family feel that you're doing what you like and you're being successful in it?
My mom, she actually feels great because she actually wanted me to be a doctor, like most parents, and she's like, "Oh, don't do this acting thing. Why, artist? You never make any money." And I was like, "Nah, Mom, this is what I really want to do." So she's really happy to see that I stuck to what I want, and then now it's bearing fruit for me.
How was the process? You're an actor, originally. How was the process of you being an actor to making films?
The process, I mean, I'm still doing both. So I think the dynamics still, they're sort of separate. So I have my acting track, and I have the things I do as an actor and things I do as a director. Also, the industry looks at them separately. But it also was an interesting dynamic to act in something that I was directing. So it's kind of like, I'm here behind the camera, then I run and I'm acting. So it's just, I think, just taking patience, taking time, and not getting the pressure of like you feel like you're doing too much, you know?
Do you have a preference between acting or filming? Maybe acting because you started doing it first. What do you think?
I think I don't have a preference. I think both, I feel even, just because they're both different angles and different tools of creative storytelling. So for me, I'm still doing what I'm doing. It's just now I'm doing it in a different voice, you know? It's like you're playing the guitar or you're playing the trumpet. You're still making music, but you know how you're doing it changes. Cool.
How did you meet Joshua, or how did you guys start being like these two people that started making films?
We were hanging out in the hallway at New World School of the Arts, and then Josh was like, "Yo, you Haitian?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yo!" And then we just started being friends and being roommates, yeah. And then we just stuck after that.
What's your message to the young audience that's watching you, that their passion is to make films and they need to find an inspiration for it?
Well, first I say don't create unless you're inspired to create. Be aware what that inspiration is. And sometimes just exercise. Like, exercise creating. Be in a room and be like, "Oh, I'm going to write about my mom coming from work," or "I'm going to write about my walk home from school," and how that can be a little journey. And then from there, you'll start to find what you really want to talk about. So keep doing it is what I say. Don't sit there and think and keep it in your head, but put it on paper, put it on the computer, keep creating. Yeah.
And last but not least, are there any more projects in the future or any ideas?
Oh, absolutely. There's a feature right now about a young Venezuelan undocumented high school girl who is struggling with grappling her identity. And I have a friend, Maria Corina, who wrote that script, and right now we're work on that tone piece. So that, and then Josh and I are working on another series because we don't want to wait. We just want to keep going. So there's another series called Goons that we're working on. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for your time and good luck on all your projects.
Yes,
thank you. I had an awesome time talking to Edson and Joshua, and I hope you liked what they had to say also. Don't forget to watch all the projects they've done. You won't regret it. I'm Alejandra reporting for Kids First. Thanks for watching and see you next time.